So everybody, are you ready to get started? Let's get going here. Welcome to the webinar. Like I said, my name is Dr. Rob Marvenko, the Lazy Doctor, and today I'm going to show you how to flood your office with new patients who need your care without wasting money, time, and waiting for forever. For results. Now, I'm guessing for a lot of you, this is probably not your first webinar about getting more new patients. Am I right? It's definitely not my first time here either. I've been exactly where you are. And the first thing that I want to mention is that if you failed at getting new patients in the past, it's not your fault. I failed a bunch of times myself. There's a lot of information, a lot of scams out there, and it can be confusing. Many times this stops you from moving forward and it keeps you from success. I talk to a lot of doctors and I find that this will stop them from moving forward, and I don't want that to happen to you. Now, I know what you're going through, and I just want to let you know it's okay. If you've been concerned in the past that you just can't get enough new patients for your office, I want to put those fears to rest. You can get more customers. You just need the right person to explain it to you, and I'm going to be that person today. You know, the traditional medical approach to what we can help people with is driven by pharmaceutical companies. And I don't have to tell you, they have billions and billions of dollars. So although this competition between us and them seems unfair at times, with the approach that I'm about to show you, you can still win. Sounds great, huh? And if you've ever thought that traditional marketing companies just want your money and don't care about results, well, you're probably right. They're not passionate about helping potential patients find the best chiropractors out there. They don't have any understanding for what we do. The difference with me is that I actually care about your success, and I truly want to spread chiropractic alternative services to as many people as I possibly can. I'm a chiropractor. I have 3 of my own offices that I need new patients in as well. So I've vested interest here. You can see as far as where I'm coming from. Hopefully that is making sense to you. So that's what we're here for, right? More new patients, more new customers, exposing our businesses to more new people so we can expand. I know you have a dream to help as many people in your community as you possibly can and make an impact. And I want to show you how to make that happen during this webinar. Now, I want to share a couple goals that I have for us today. One, for those who are lacking, there's 2 types of situations that you may be in, doctors and also other medical practices. Whatever you do, looking for more new patients, more new customers is something I know that's important. So it's for 2 types of practices, for those that are lacking new patients, new customers, and this situation is really creating a problem with the amount of money that you're able to generate. You'll get the confidence, the tools to rectify this situation right away. And it's also for those more experienced doctors who already have successful new patient programs running, and you just want more. This is going to give you the ability to really blow the doors off things. So it's very exciting to share this with you today. Now, the only way for you to get tons of new customers, new patients fast with social media is through 4-point social media marketing. And the only way to get 4-point social media marketing is through the Lazy Doctor. Now, I want to introduce myself to you. My name is Dr. Rob Marvenko. I'm a chiropractor, which a lot of you already know. I have 3 of my own offices. 2 are in my hometown in Baltimore, which I just flew in from last night, and 1 is here in Florida, where I live currently. And yes, it's been super hot here, but it's funny, when I was up there this past week, I really saw how 10 degrees makes a huge difference. So we are about 10 degrees hotter down in here in Florida, and it's blistering. So hopefully you guys are somewhere where it's a little bit cooler. That's the kind of weather I like. So from social media, we're getting 4 to 7 new patients a week just from social media, each week in each one of my offices. So it's pretty exciting, the stuff I'm going to share with you today. Now, what I'm about to share with you is the prime way that I get new patients into my office. This is what I am depending on. This is what I'm focusing on, and I want to show you how to focus on it too. This is the system where the majority of my new business comes from. Does this sound like something you want to learn? I'm sure it does. It works so well. I was able to extract myself from 3 of my own offices, so now I can work full-time helping doctors like you achieve the same thing. Now, I want to just share a little bit about my past with you. As a kid growing up, I always wanted to help people. Being interested in the health field, the first thing that actually came to mind was doing something in a hospital environment. I actually loved hospitals when I was growing up. So when I discovered that hospitals weren't actually fixing problems, but actually perpetuating disease, I no longer wanted anything to do with them. I remember clearly when I was in my 20s visiting a chiropractor's home, and I thought, wow, this is what I really want to be. I always had envisioned myself as very successful with lots of nice things, and I always wanted to have a wife, a family, and I wanted to be able to have those things that I wanted when I wanted them. So off I went to chiropractic school. I graduated from NYCC, opened my own practice. I was a great chiropractor, but I knew very little about getting new patients. I found myself struggling with the information that was available to me because the variety, the confusion about what worked and what was affordable for my office. I thought that after leaving school, I'd be set. Well, I didn't anticipate how difficult it would be, working lots of hours, missing out on lots of weekends with my family because of the amount of time that I was spending on getting new customers. It really wasn't my definition of success at that point. I was stressed out, disappointed with how my career was going. I'm sure you guys can relate to this. The new patients, they just weren't coming in. My operating costs were rapidly increasing, and I wasn't paying myself enough. I forced myself to accept the fact at this point that people weren't just going to find me. I have to go out and I have to get them. I'd have to do things in the community, roll up my sleeves, and rustle up new ones. I found myself working very hard to try to get new patients, and it's really sucked. Nothing was consistent. I'm sure you guys can relate to this. One idea works for a while, then it dries up, and I'd have to recreate the wheel all over again. Some ideas produced no new patients, and I went deeper and deeper into the hole. Then a doctor told me about how many patients that they were getting from social media, and I was in disbelief. I said, yeah, right, social media is just where people post pictures of what they ate today, cute babies, pets, things like that. I was very, very skeptical. I talked to other doctors, and they agreed with me. They concurred. They said, yes, social media does not work. But I couldn't get that doc out of my head that told me how many patients that he was getting from social media, and he was using it. And I said, at that point, I was like, what the heck? I'm going to stick my neck out here. What do I have to lose? Just more money. And I've wasted money in the past. So I hired a company to run the social media ads for my office, and off I went. Believe me, I was skeptical. I was prepared to lose money on it, but magically, for some reason, it worked. People were responding. It started to produce people in my area that really needed my services. My new patients increased for my practice, and I was making more money. And I finally got to the point where I could spend time on the weekend with my family and do the things that I wanted to do while this system worked for me. I was happy about it, but it did confuse me a little bit. Why did it work for me so well, but not with other doctors? So many doctors say it doesn't work. I had to find out. I started analyzing what I was doing in my office compared to other offices. And that's when it hit me. I spotted some very specific things I was doing that they were not doing. And I narrowed it down to 4 vital things that I was doing. These were things that any office could and should be doing, but they just weren't. I call it 4-point social media marketing. These 4 things were the make-break point between being successful and not. And we'll cover some of these points in a bit. My office flourished for years. I eventually had someone buy me out in a great situation, and after that, I decided to make it my life's mission to help other docs have successful offices and spread chiropractic as far as I could. And that's why I'm doing this. The first thing I thought was I was desiring my own practice, to be super successful. But deep inside, I discovered that my true goal was that I always wanted to help more and more people, spread chiropractic further and further. Now I'm working for doctors just like you, reaching that goal. Now, you guys may not want to run multiple offices and get into the consulting business like me, but I'm sure a regular flow of new patients looks pretty pleasing. I've been exactly where you are. spending money, my valuable time on getting new patients, not knowing what works and what doesn't, having to come up, short over and over again, which really stinks. Consistently getting new patients that's affordable for your office is a headache that never seems to go away. I tell you, I can share some really funny stories with you. Teddy bears in my trunk, taking donuts to auto body shops. I did it all. But when I look at how 4-Point social media marketing was flooding my office with new patients, I knew that other doctors could learn how to do it. Not only did this work for me, but here's a story about Dr. Impastato. He's going to share with you his experience. It was similar to mine. When I got a hold of him, he was so skeptical, just like I was. He didn't believe it could work either. Well, we started running it in his office. We applied the techniques, and he doubled his practice. So I want you guys to check out what he has to say.
Well, you're absolutely right in what you said, because prior to getting with you and the Lazy Doctor, I did hire a Facebook marketer, and I was in a 6-month contract with him. Mm-hmm. And after spending thousands of dollars and 6 months of time going by, literally not one single lead came in.
Wow. So
obviously I was really disappointed and, even doubting that Facebook could even work. Mm-hmm. So when a friend of mine had told me about you, of course I was skeptical, because I had just went through a 6-month program with somebody who supposedly could bring patients in from Facebook. But he said it was working for him. And I said, okay, well, one thing's for sure. I definitely believe that you don't give up. You keep trying till you find something that works. Mm-hmm. And we're at the 1-year anniversary right now, and it's been working great ever since. Yeah. And what I did like about it is that from the very beginning, the leads started coming in from day one, almost minute one. You get 10 this week, maybe 15 the next week. Mm-hmm. But it's a bit of a building process. But it literally has doubled my practice in 1 year's time, or actually less than 1 year's time.
Wow.
All right, Derek, Peter, Emily, Ray, can you imagine this happening in your office? I just want you to just take a second and think, how would this be if this happened to you? It's pretty amazing stuff. So here's what we're going to cover the rest of the webinar today. Secret number 1 is how to generate lots of new patients without giving your services away. Secret number 2 is how to automate getting new patients using 4-Point social media marketing so you can do the things in practice that you love. And then I'm going to share with you secret number 3, how to get people to pay for your services and not blame the lack of insurance coverage. All right, so let's get started with secret number 1, how to generate lots of paying customers without giving your services away. Now, I want to tell you a quick story. I'm sure you guys have all experienced this. Free exams, free consultations, free this, free that. I remember thinking to myself, why am I giving away my services and nobody else is? Am I right? This kind of thing is all the rage, and in my opinion, it really belittles us. I remember falling into this trap. I would go out to a fair or a patient event. I would sign up lots of people for a free exam. So there I was sitting, waiting for patients to come in for their free exam. This was such a waste of my time. And until I realized how valuable my time was, I continued to frustrate myself with these offers. I did this for years, doctors. I'm not so proud of it, and it does not work. I'm sure someone else out there has done this. I can recall a spinal screening I was doing one hot summer day, and I was standing out there in the dead of summer, sweating my ass off, giving my services away. People coming up to me with half-empty glasses of wine and beer and asking me, hey, what are you offering? But you know what? I didn't care. I just wanted the appointments so I would feel better about how I was spending my day. I hope someone out there is, has done this. Like I say, it really doesn't work. And this is what I was doing to keep my office busy, but it was no fun. I just resigned myself, though, at that point, that this is what works. This is what I have to do. Me standing out there, passing out giveaways while people walk by with booze and candy apples. Well, thank God then came along social media. I thought this could be a game changer. Social media is where I saw me getting my information about what I do in front of a large amount of people. And it saved me a lot of time and energy. But I didn't want to put just another free offer up like I was seeing others doing, because I knew this wasn't going to produce a motivated patient. So I started to design offers that people paid for. Now, it took me time, but after a lot of trial and error, I got it fine-tuned, and that's when my new patient numbers increased, and I was getting paid and not giving it away. I felt like I cracked the code at this point. Now, this discovery is now one of the most important points of 4-point social media marketing, getting people to pay to see you without standing out there in the hot sun every single weekend. Now, after this, I finally realized that I didn't have to put up with the constant struggle of new business, and this helped me see that what I set out for in the beginning was possible, a successful business that people could gravitate to without a lot of stress. Now, the cool thing is, it didn't just work for me. It works for all kinds of doctors, all kinds of health professionals that we are working with. This is Dr. Frank Anderson. I want to share his perspective on it. He always thought that getting new patients, new customers had to be a struggle. But after he took the leap of faith and he tried these systems, this is what happened.
The first thing I want to say is that, I always thought I was going to do all the marketing on my own. I was the type of guy that I would get offers from other people to do Facebook advertising. And I never did it because I said, I'll do it on my own. And I bought all these courses and thought, I'm going to learn how to do that. And you know what happened? Months and months went by. It turned into years. And I never did it. So I never got any leads in the door. So the first thing I want to say is that it's been a pleasure not to have to worry about where the new next client is coming from, just to know that somebody else is handling that for me and watching the metrics and making sure that the ad is running correctly. Right. You have to have balance in your life. And one of the great things now is that I'm able to take off when I want to take off, and I have staff in place and your services and your team in place that I don't have to worry about it every day, where, what I have to do for Facebook or for advertising. Yeah. But you have to see this Facebook marketing and all your marketing as a return on investment. It's going to bring you back money. I mean, I wouldn't want to hire a staff member that wasn't going to produce for me and bring in new revenue, because that's just an expense. So if you're going to spend money on advertising, and like I am with your program, you write that check every month, but you're making money back because of it, sometimes 6 or 8 folds.
All right. So how would you like to be our next case study? We are looking for this. That's a case study there of Dr. Anderson, how well he does with our information that we've shared with him. And I would like you to be our next case study. Now, you're probably thinking social media gets lots of leads, but no new patient, right? Well, I talk to 10 to 15 doctors every single week. And I've heard this story as well myself. You heard what Dr. Impastato said in his video above. He tried a system for 6 months, spent lots of money, got no new patients at all. The truth is, when you use a system like we've discovered and you apply it to the power of social media, leads become new patients. As you heard him say, he doubled his practice in less than a year. Now, right now, you might be thinking social media produces patients that aren't really interested. I have the program running in 3 of my own offices. I've just started to collect success stories from those patients that came directly from Facebook. It's so exciting. These stories that they're sharing are so inspiring. But I tell you, when they state at the end that they wouldn't have found us if it wasn't for Facebook, I know that the above is completely false. Social media continually produces those people in your area that need your care. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard this. Social media produces a lot of people that make appointments, but they don't show up. Am I right? We as chiropractors have been dealing with this way before Facebook ever came around. I remember in my practice going out to a fair or some sort of event on the weekend, getting tons of people signed up to come in for an appointment. But until I learned and applied the things that I'm applying now in 4-point social media marketing, I would have a problem with no-shows too. It doesn't matter where you find these new patients, these new customers. If you apply the tools that we developed, you will get patients to show up in your office and they will become chiropractic patients. So now I've shown you how to harness social media as your new patient generating machine and get them to pay to see you. What do you think? Pretty amazing stuff, isn't it? I don't use all those free giveaways that you see. These people pay to come to see you. It's very awesome, and I love this stuff. Now, this brings us to secret number 2, how to automate getting new patients using 4-point social media marketing so you can do those things in practice that you love, like treating patients. Now, there are pros and cons to practicing with your spouse. I'm sure you guys can imagine this. One thing that I discovered, although there were things that my wife was very good at, and I was glad that she was handling those things and she was good at it because I did not want to do it. Now, when I started out to be successful as a chiropractor, I really didn't want to depend on someone. But I found that when I was practicing, I was leaving all the marketing up to her. When I first set out on this journey, it was only me, and I felt like I had something to prove. I was self-conscious. When I got in front of people and had to grab their attention in the middle of a health fair or something like that to get them to come over as a patient, it just wasn't my strong point. I felt as though I wasn't really prepared for this in chiropractic school. I'm sure you guys can identify this. So there I was running a practice, leaving all the marketing up to my wife. So in order for me to feel good about myself and making it as a chiropractor, as a health practitioner, I had to force myself to get out there and meet people. So what I did is I started volunteering for those hot Saturdays, standing out there on the weekends, those fairs, telling people about chiropractic. This was great for me because I felt like I was really getting more control over what really every successful business needs, more new customers. I'm sure you guys have heard of this before. Well, I figured out since this worked, I would just do it on a regular basis. But I tell you, after a while, I got tired of working every single weekend, setting up those tents, struggling with those tarps, looking professional. You know, it's 90 degrees outside. It's hot as hell. And what I realized with doing this, though, was there were a lot of people out there that were interested in what I did. It was pretty awesome. It seemed like 8 out of 10 people had chiropractic problems, you know, something that I could help them with. It just took a lot of my time and a lot of my energy to find them. Can you see my problem here? So I kept this up as long as I possibly could because new patients was the bloodline of my practice. I found myself in some pretty odd places peddling chiropractic care. I remember even going home with a pocket full of leads one time, not feeling very good about how I spent my day. When I first discovered the internet, one thing that I always saw with that was I always knew that one day it would be working for me. So I could be enjoying my weekends with my family while it was getting the job done automatically. The internet is completely digital. You can automate pretty much anything. If only I could create a system that used the internet to automatically get new patients, I would be set. So as a chiropractor, finding new patients is our biggest problem. I'm sure you would agree. And during the first half of my career, I was faced with this struggle. I would spend my time, all my energy finding new patients. Then I would focus on caring for them. And before you knew it, my patients would dry up again. Can you identify with this? I'm sure you can. It was always my responsibility. It fell on my shoulders to get more new patients, and it was always a struggle for me. So when I discovered social media advertising, because it was internet-based, the possibility of automated procedures to get new patients was there. So I got to work building this machine. Talk about confusing at this point. There were thousands of tools out there that each seemed to do a different part of what I wanted, but none of them did it all. It took months, but it wasn't until I found the right combination of what tool to use where when things really started coming together and the results I needed and wanted started happening. So I got it working for my office, and the foot never came off the gas pedal at this point. The machine was built and was cranking out new patients, and even someone like me who is not a tech guy can use it. The worry, the constant attention on new patients was gone. It was consistent and it was automated. Now you can imagine how I felt. My biggest problem as a chiropractor, getting new patients, was resolved. And I finally had more time to focus on those things in practice that I love to do. Does this sound like something you'd like? Now, we as chiropractors have been struggling with this for as long as I can remember. It seems impossible that we could have a practice without struggling with new patients, but it is possible, and you can do it. And that is because of social media and the procedures of 4-point social media marketing that we have. I talk to a lot of chiropractors, and I know that expansion is what you want to do. Whether it's just a bigger office that collects more or multiple locations, you want to expand, right? That's why you're here. The thing that is stopping expansion, I'm telling you, The one thing that stops expansion is a constant flow of new business. That's it. Now, the cool thing is it just didn't work for me. Here's what docs are working with. This is what they're saying to us about what's happening in their office, and it's exciting. I sold about $6,000 in care plans, and it was the craziest day I ever had in the office. My numbers have skyrocketed, and we have hired more staff to meet our growing needs. This stuff is awesome. Oh my God, it has been awesome this week. 19 new patients last week, signed up another $27 lead for a $2,000 program. This is what people are saying. Now, we're going to move on now to secret number 3, how to get people to pay for your services and not blame the lack of insurance coverage. Now, I got something I want to share with you here. I think we can all relate to the struggle of finding that perfect, profitable piece of equipment for our offices, right? I remember going to a seminar. I can't remember, it was some technique seminar, and somebody in the back of the place was telling me that if I just invested $13,000 in this range of motion machine, I would be instantly receiving reimbursements from the insurance companies. I thought I had the answer at this point. I ran home. I told my wife, hey, honey, our worries are over. You know, I'm going to fix this struggle. As a business owner, I was always trying to remain profitable, obviously, so I had my eyes open for those things that would help my patients. It obviously had to help my patients first, but also produce a good income for my office. You've all been there, right? I'm sure. Well, this piece of equipment that I was looking at was super cool. You held these 2 wireless instruments on the patient, and it actually recorded range of motion. At that point, Bluetooth and stuff like that was all the rage, and there were adapters, all kinds of stuff. It came in a black briefcase. It was straight out of Men in Black. It was so cool, and I charged it. Cha-ching, here's my credit card, and I put it on there, and I ran home with it because I really thought this is what I needed. I was new in practice at this point. I didn't have the best business skills. I was making some money, but I wasn't as successful as I wanted to be. Being in a position of depending on my parents for a long period of time, making the big investment of time and money to be successful as a chiropractor, failure was no longer an option. 30, living at home, no way. It wasn't going to be me. Well, unfortunately, insurance companies at this point, they always change their rules, right? Nobody out there likes insurance companies. Am I right? So after I bought the machine, learned how to use it, and finally implemented it, the denials started to pile up on my desk. I was sick. I didn't even pay for this damn thing yet. I worked really hard at trying to get this machine profitable for my office, but finally I discovered it wasn't what everybody promised me it would be. But you know what? I didn't give up. I started to figure out this internet thing. If I could figure out how to write an ad that produced a patient from the internet that would pay me, that's what I needed to do. So I looked at what other doctors were doing and what marketers were saying. I tested wording. I tested different pictures. Most things actually did not work. And if you think this happened overnight, you're crazy. But with enough time and with enough focus on things, I got the wording just right. So when somebody clicked on my ad, I knew I would be making money. Now, it's the very thing that most marketers don't know how to do, writing effective ad copy. And it's one of the 4 points of 4-point social media marketing. That's when I realized, you know, I started to see my office expand with this. This is where I really started to expand as a business owner on my ideas, things that I wanted to do professionally, like helping other chiropractors. Now, let me show you what doctors that we are working with are saying and what's happening in their office. It's super exciting. So as you know, I went with another company. Unfortunately, in 2 months, the results have not been good. Let's chat when you have some time. And that doctor started with us. The system is working really well. I love it. It's producing for me. I'm converting almost everyone into a new patient. Your program works like magic, my friend. Now, I know what you're thinking. Social media marketing requires an investment of time, and it's only me. I don't have the time. I went through this as well. As a practice owner for 20 years, I had many opportunities to discover where my focus should be. I tell you, doctors, I never wasted a second of time when I focused on new patients. I did discover that anytime you can get in front of a large amount of people, it was profitable to put your message there. Right now, there's no better place than social media. Now, you also may be thinking, if I take a risk, I could come up empty-handed and I could look bad. Now, I'm sure you can relate to this. I always thought that if I advertised on television, my phones would ring off the hook. One of my patients that I worked with, actually, he worked at a TV station. Well, he sold me a TV commercial that cost me over 10 grand. It was super expensive with the production and the ad buy and all that. But to get it up and running, it was $10,000. I know I spent way more than that. He promised me that this is what I needed to resolve my problem. Well, when it was all over, I spent over $10,000 and I still was looking for something to generate new patients that was cost effective. That's the key. I discovered the TV wasn't it. I just continued to spend more and more money without results. I look back on this now, though, and I know exactly these failures that I had. This is what continued my journey to find what I found in 4-Point Social Media Marketing. So now I've shown you how to cut to the chase, pick those patient systems that are profitable without wasting time and money. This stuff is really cool, isn't it? I know what you're thinking, doctors. They tell me all the time, social media can produce a lot of people, but they don't have the money. So as you heard in the success story videos that the doctors have shared with you, these ads have changed their lives. You know, they are producing more income in their practices than they ever thought was possible. So social media does produce patients that have money. So I want to ask you a question. If you followed what I showed you in secret number 1, you harness social media as your new patient generating machine. Then you did what I showed you in secret number 2 and you cut to the chase. You created offers that were profitable without wasting time and money. And then you used secret number 3 that gave you the automated procedures in 4-Point Social Media Marketing that brought the new patients in the door. Do you think you could be successful? Now let me ask you a question. How many of you guys are excited? You're ready to go, and you're like just, you know, chomping at the bit here with the stuff that we talked about. And how many of you are feeling a little overwhelmed because we've covered so much stuff here? Now, it's really impossible to show you everything that you will need to get results in just this short 40-minute presentation, but I've tried to cover as much as possible. I created a special package for those of you that are ready to move forward and want to implement this new opportunity. Now, is it okay with you if I spend just 10 minutes going over a very special offer that I created to help you implement 4-Point Social Media Marketing? Now, here is what our 4-Point Social Media Marketing program consists of. So I want to go back and I want to make a short thing so you guys realize who exactly this is for here. Not only is it for those doctors, those practitioners who are just starting their practice and have no new patient programs, right? You guys are struggling, looking for new patients to come in the door like tomorrow, but it's for those larger practices too as well, who are already successful, but they just want to scale. They just want more new patients. Now, you might be thinking you can't get started with this because it's not going to produce new patients that want to pay for your care. Well, here's why this is a mistake that would hold you back from success. Social media is the best way to get your message in front of as many people as possible. We target those who have conditions that you treat and have the ability to pay. A percentage of these people even schedule themselves. It's awesome. I'm telling you, that is so exciting to me to see that, hey, you have patients on the book who scheduled themselves over the weekend. Now, when you sign up today, you're going to get access to our 4-Point Social Media Marketing System for your practice. It's a total value of $2,600 for 1 month of service. As part of this package, you're going to get access to our weekly marketing training call. And I want to tell you a little bit about this. This is where I'm going to be in touch with you and your staff on a weekly basis, so they know all the procedures that are involved, the techniques, the skills that I've been using in my own offices that have been so successful to get the patients arrived in the door. This is also going to include the exact scripting that I've used. It's downloadable PDFs. It's all included in this. When you have this tool, you'll be able to focus on what you do best, which is treating the patients. You'll be able to get rid of the constant focus on where your new patients are coming from and having to train your staff yourself to get the patients arrived. And this is what we need, right? More new patients. Telling you, when I figured this stuff out, I discovered that well-trained staff was a very important piece of getting the most out of this program. Nobody else is doing this. I had to create this tool for myself and for my own offices that I use, and now I can just pass it on to you and include it here in the program. When I discovered that staff training was absolutely necessary, I had to spend lots of time, lots of money to develop an efficient way to not only get my staff trained to do this, but also constantly develop tools that they could use to get better and better results. But I don't want you to have to create the wheel again. I've already gotten proven results with this training, and I'm just going to include it here with the package. Now, when you use these training tools, not only do you save time and money that I spent to develop it, but you also save what could be months or years of wasted time and money because you'll be doing it right the very first time. There's no trial and error period. We don't have time for that as business owners. I'm sure you agree. Now, you might be thinking, this is not going to save me time and money. And, you know, I spent a lot of time, and I understand this. We don't have time for that. I understand that you guys are business owners. You need to be treating the patients and being in the room. So some people will tell me this is going to be very difficult for me to get my staff to follow my directions, but that's why I created these easy scripts for them to follow so that they are successful. Now, what you're going to get is you're going to get 4-point social media marketing. It's a $2,600 value. The staff training that I told you about, that's a $1,700 value. The total value is $4,300. Now, when you invest today, you're also going to get access to our self-scheduling program as an extra added benefit. Now, let me explain what this is. These patients will actually schedule themselves for an appointment. Yeah, you heard me. They will schedule themselves with your office. We set up all the automation, all the links, so this happens seamlessly. I had to go through a lot of trial and error to finally get this set up and running in my own offices. At first, I didn't know how to get a patient to actually schedule themselves. I thought if a person identified themselves as someone with a problem, it would be easy to get them in as a patient. But after lots of time and lots of money, the program that we figured out how to set this up and get this automation working so nobody has to do the work, they would schedule themselves so you don't have to. And we include this in the program here as a special bonus today. Now, this bonus is going to make it faster. It's going to make it much easier for you guys to get the patients scheduled to come into your office. How? Because it does it automatically. You get notifications of when people want to come in, the time, the day. You can see that this is big plus here, I'm sure. You may be thinking as a doctor, I don't have the knowledge, I don't have the time to investigate and figure out how this technology actually works. But that's why we do it for you. We've done all the investigating. We know how this technology works. There's absolutely nothing that you have to learn or understand. We just get it all set up for you. So what you're going to get is you're going to get 4-point social media marketing. It's a $2,600 value. The staff training, where I'm going to work with your staff on a weekly basis, all those downloadable PDFs, the scripts to make sure those patients get arrived. This self-scheduling, which is automation, so patients will actually schedule with your office. It's a total value of $5,800. Now, also when you invest today, you're also going to get access to our complete support program, which will help you with any questions that come up for you and your staff. This complete support program is designed so you can do what you're good at, and that's treat the patients. I know from a personal experience, running an office efficiently takes the doctor's full attention. So we include this in the program to handle the ads, the automation completely for you. You'll have email access, phone access to the technical support when you have any question or anything like that. Now, I had to go through a lot of ups and downs with running social media myself. It took me a long time to discover these important systems so the ads were super effective. But I'm telling you, you don't have to, because I'm giving you this complete support system as a special bonus. Now, this bonus is going to make it quicker, easier for you to get the product, which is more new patients in your office, because it gives you the time to focus on what you do best. And that's what we want to do in practice, right? Stuff like treating the patients. Now, you might be thinking, oh, when I need something, it's going to take days, it's going to take weeks to get an answer. Well, I'm telling you, that's not how our customer service works. We're quick, we're responsive, we talk your language, we get you the help you need quickly. Doctors always tell me they respond all the time, and they tell me how fast we handle problems that arise for them. And that's because I am a doctor. I understand what you're going through. I know that you need answers and you need to rectify things sooner than later. So that's why our support program is set up like that. Now, you're going to get 4-point social media marketing. It's a $2,600 value. The staff training that I told you about, that weekly training call, all the scripting, all the initial training as far as to get everyone on board with how the system works, the self-scheduling, which I love. People will actually schedule themselves for an appointment. You get notification that you have an appointment, and our complete support program, which is $1,500 value. So the total value of the program is $7,300. Now, when you invest today, you're also going to get our offer design program consultation. So let me tell you a little bit about this. This creates offers in the ads that will find the patients that sign up for services that are actually profitable for your office. Sounds perfect, doesn't it? That's what you need. You need people interested in what you do that's profitable. I had a lot of ups and downs, and I finally realized that there were certain patients that I needed to be looking for in order to make the program profitable. But you won't have to, because I'm giving you this offer design program as a bonus here. This bonus is going to make it much faster, much easier for you to get those patients that are profitable and interested in your offer. How? Because the ads are specifically designed to attract those types of cases that you're looking for. Now, what you're going to get is you're going to get 4-point social media marketing. It's a $2,600 value. The staff training that I said, that's included. It's a $1,700 value. That weekly training, all the PDFs that we have as far as with everything that you need to make sure that your staff's on board, self-scheduling, the automation there. So when you come in on a Monday, you have patients scheduled for their new patient exams, the self-scheduling, the complete support program that I talked to you about. Like I say, this is going to help you implement things. It's a $1,500 value. The offer design program, which is very, very important, making sure that you are actually putting something out there that is profitable for your office. And then our setup fees also is a $1,500 value. So the total value for the program is $10,300. Now, obviously, I'm not going to charge you $10,300, but if I did charge you $10,300 and all it did was give you a completely automated digital marketing machine that brought new patients into your office, would it be worth it? Now, if all this system did was taught you and your staff how to cut to the chase and create offers that are profitable without wasting time and money, would it be worth it? And what if all it did was automate your procedures in your office so you can do those things you love to do in practice, like treat patients? Would it be worth it? Now, I had two choices with this. I could go as cheap as possible, try to get as many people as I possibly could to sign up for the 4-point social media marketing with us. But the problem with this is that I couldn't really stack on the value for you. Like the things we talked about, the personal training that we do, the personal attention that we give to building your campaigns to make them as profitable as we could for your office. So what I decided to go with is a second option, which obviously requires a slightly higher investment on your side. But in exchange for that, we can dedicate more time, more energy, and resources to help guarantee your success. So if you had a successful marketing program that was bringing in new patients to your office consistently, and those patients were spending money with you, what would it be worth? How much would you pay to have this running in your office successfully? Now, I'm sure you can see probably why people would pay $10,300 to get this program started in their office, because it's not a cost. It's an investment. You saw that in the testimonial video that Dr. Anderson shared with you. That's what it is. It's an investment. Now, remember, this is generating new customers to your business, and it's automated. Now, you've already seen how it's worth $10,300, which I charged the general public to get started, and it's a great deal at that price. But because you're here today, and I like working with people that take action, I'm going to give you a very special offer today. So what you're going to get is you're going to get 4-point social media marketing. It's a $2,600 value. The staff training I talked to you about, the actual training to get your staff on board, the PDFs, the weekly training call, that I help your staff implement things that we're implementing in my offices and other offices. The self-scheduling, which is awesome. You know, these people actually schedule themselves. They will sign up for an appointment. That automation is included. It's $1,500 value. Our complete support program that guarantees your success, all the things as far as that's needed when things come up for your office, we are there for you to help you. Our offer design program, a $1,500 value. That's included. And all our setup fees are included here today also too. That's a $1,500 value. So the total value for the program is $10,300. But you only pay $897.50, $897.50 today to get this program running. Now, we're so confident in our service that we don't have you sign any contracts. We typically collect $17.95 a month. But what I want to do is I want to make this accessible to every single doctor out there, every single practitioner out there. So we split the payment up bi-weekly. So you can just pay $897.50 today, and we'll run the program for the first 2 weeks, and there are no contracts with us. This includes the ad budget too as well. It's included in here. So there are no additional charges. This is something as far as that is totally covered for you here at that $897.50. So to get it up and running, all you have to do is pay $897.50. Click on the button over to the right. There's the chat box there to get started today, and we'll get you started on the program today. Like I said before, new patients is something that every single doctor has to have a constant flow, and this handles that for you. Now, I also want to put this in perspective. If you went to my regular website right now, you could start the program for $10,300 and pay individually for all these different services. But because you've invested this time with me and you've proven that you really want to get a result, I'm making a special offer just for this webinar. So at this point, you have two choices. Choice number one is you do nothing. If you do nothing with the information you've learned in the past hour, what are you going to get? Absolutely nothing. Or you can choose to take a leap of faith like the doctors you saw did. Just test it out, see if it works for you. Now, it's okay if it doesn't work for you because you're covered by our 30-day money-back guarantee. Test drive it for 2 weeks, and you'll see that it does work. But we'll refund your complete admin fee if you're not extremely happy with the results. The real question is this: is it worth gambling a few minutes of your time to check this out? Even if it only does a fraction of what I've claimed today, it will more than pay for itself for your office. And think about all the exposure that you're going to get in your community on social media. I have doctors share with me all the time that we're working with. They're saying, yeah, I'm being recognized. Well, that's because your office is plastered all over your area. So it just creates a lot of advertising, a lot of goodwill with your area. And we really, make you as far as the person, the go-to person in your area. So you're going to get the 4-point social media marketing. It's a $2,600 value. The staff training is included here. That's the initial training that we do with your staff, the weekly training call, so important. Like I say, I know from running my own office how important this is, how valuable this is. My own office staff is on this call, and your office staff will be on this call too as well. The self-scheduling, which is extremely important for this type of thing, because people will sign up for appointments. So you will get notification. This is included. It's a $1,500 value that you have appointments. The complete support program that just ensures your success. We are there to handle anything that comes up, and we get right back to you. That's included. Our offer design program is a $1,500 value. That's creating those ads that are going to be profitable for your office. All our setup fees are included today. It's a $1,500 value. So like I said, a total value of $10,300. And today only, you pay $897.50 to get started, and there are no contracts. In the right side, you'll see to get started now, and just click there, and you'll get started on the program. So click the button over there in the box to get started, and we'll get you rolling on it. Now, if you have any questions right now, you can also type questions in the chat. I got a few minutes before another webinar that I have coming up, and we'll get started with any questions. So click the button over there in the box to get started. Now, I know a lot of doctors, they'll tell me there's a lot of people out there claiming that can do this. I understand that. I talk to doctors that have been promised success from 17-year-old kids that are working out of their parents' basement. We have over 30 offices that we're doing this for right now. I have it running in 3 of my own offices. So you can see my vested interest here. So there is a question. Let me take that. Sure. Yeah, you want to pay that up front? Just go ahead and click the button, get started, and we'll take the information as far as that you have to get started today. But that's definitely not a problem. And then you'd have an extended period of time paid for. I have doctors do that want to pay 6 months, a year in advance, and that's totally fine. I understand sometimes as a practice owner, you have money set aside for marketing and stuff like that that's there that you want to spend and get rid of, good for taxes and stuff like that. Now, I bet you've been approached by marketers before. I know I've seen this. You've seen these promises. I'm telling you, I've seen them as a practice owner, all these things as far as that people say. But these guys that are out there are not chiropractors who make these promises. I'm a chiropractor. I have proven results with these systems that work, and I'm serious about this, and I want doctors to be the next case study. That's what I'm working with, people like the doctors you saw that really want to expand, grow, and be our next case study. How soon before the ads start running? And it usually takes about 3 days, depending on our workload. And I know that doctors typically want new patients right away. I get that all the time where doctors are saying, no, I need new patients like right away. And I take that into consideration. As a practice owner, I know how important that new patients are. So when you get started today, like I say, usually 3 days, but I'll get right, someone will get right on the phone with you, and we'll get started. So yeah, just go ahead and click over there, and the sooner you do that, like I say, the sooner we can set up and get you on the next step, and like I say, with these kinds of things, I tell doctors all the time, don't put off decisions like this, because this is what is flowing new patients into your practice, and it's absolutely what every practice needs, and you can't lose here. I mean, I know people can say $897 is a lot of money. I understand that. I'm a practice owner too, and I understand you have to watch and, kind of budget your money and things like that. But I want to tell you, this includes your ad budget. And a portion of this money you're getting back. That's what's crazy about this. I mean, just last month, I got $648 back in one of my offices because people paid for my offer. Does that make sense? People pay for the offer. So I want you guys to remember, some of this money is coming back in your pocket because they're coming in and they're paying for this visit. So like I said, these patients are going to pay to see you, and that's what's exciting about this. So, when you think about $897 every 2 weeks, it's like, but like I say, we are generating people that are signing up, they're scheduling for your office, and they're going to pay to see you. So it's a no-brainer here, as far as with what you need for your office. And I know old habits are hard to break. I can understand that. I can leave this webinar. I can enjoy the rest of my day. It's Friday. It's my wife's birthday today. We're going out to dinner. But I have this running in my offices, and it is successful. It's already working for me. But this isn't about me. This is about you. If you leave right now, you might think you have learned a lot of cool stuff, but my guess is by tomorrow, you'll have already slipped back into old routines, right? Just do what you have always done. That's what most people do on these types of things. They just go back to old routines. But because I'm here and I care about chiropractic, I care about, getting people as far as services that are going to be natural and safe for people. I want to help as many people as I can expand so they can see more and more people. I'm going to let you go. I'm not going to let you go back to your old habits. I'm going to make sure you're successful by breaking these old habits. Now we have another question. Are you collecting the fee in advance? Yeah, basically what's going to happen is when you start today, you're paying the $897.50. We're going to be right in touch with you. We're going to get your ad started. And then, like I say, that's how it's going to be set up as far as, but I'll go into, I have some people that actually started, and as you start and you go to the next step, you get, the top of the list as far as, to get your ads running sooner than later. So as people start, you're on the list. So we'll make sure we get back to you and make sure the next steps to take. But like I say, businesses all the time, they need new clients, new people. That's what you'll get when you invest today. You get those new people. Now, also too, by the way, I just want to make sure that you guys know. Oh, from the patient. I got it right. So what'll happen is yeah, from the patient, are you collecting the fee? Yeah, are you collecting the fee in advance from the patient? That's the question. Are you collecting the fee in advance from the patient? The patient is signing up your for the appointment. We're confirming the appointment, and they're paying when you get to the office. So what I'm going to do also, it just hit me. I don't want to forget about this. I am going to email out that marketing plan that I spoke to you guys about, because I do think everyone out there that's in practice should be looking at this, because this is something that's going to put in perspective what kind of things that you need to do in order to get a constant flow. 4-point social media marketing is the top of that list, and that's something that each one of my offices does pay for. That's part of the marketing budget. But you'll see with the PDF that I send you, there's a lot of things as far as the doctors will tell me. They'll say, oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. I should be doing that. So, that's the added benefits as far as with working with us, is that I know what chiropractors are up against. I know what they need to be able to do in order to be successful, and that's what's part of our 4-point social media marketing plan, is for you guys to be successful with this. So you got a lot of benefits as far as with the program. So if you guys have any more questions, just let me know. All right, I want to thank everyone for being here today. mail@thelazydr.com is my email. You can email me there. And again, I just want to make sure that you guys understand how important it is to look at the idea as far as with social media and how these things work, because there's nothing better than this for us as chiropractors. I was discussing this with somebody else just the other day, and I said, we have an opportunity here that we need to take an advantage of because we don't know how long this opportunity is going to be there for us. But it's here now. It's successful. It's something as far as that's a no-brainer as a decision to get more new patients. So I'm glad we're helping people. We had some people take advantage today, so welcome, and I'll be in touch. I just want to thank everyone for sharing the time today. Make sure if you have any questions about anything that we go over, mail@thelazydr.com. You can reach me, and yeah, check out our website too. We have a lot of information there, a lot of things we're doing with chiropractors. So you can look there for anything that we have going on too. So thanks again. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you in some upcoming webinars.